We're going to be using Tennessee Foundational Skills Curriculum Supplement, Grade 1, Unit 1. Our lesson objectives for today, we're going to think really deeply about blending and segmenting again. You guys remember that from the first lesson? We're also going to work with some tricky words. We're going to work a little bit more in our handwriting, and we're also going to start working in some grammar around some common nouns. So I look forward to our lesson today. In order to participate in our lesson, you're going to need 2 small pieces of yellow paper or 2 yellow sticky notes. So for example, this is what I used for mine, and then I printed my tricky word on that, which we can get to later. But this is the yellow piece of paper, and there's my tricky word. Again, you can use just a yellow sticky note, and the color is not super important. We just want to make sure that it is colorful and maybe not just a white piece of paper. You're also going to need a pencil, sharp and ready, and you're going to need access to worksheets 3.1 and 3.2, or as always, you can just use some of your primary tablet paper that you would normally have at school. All right, so in order to get our lesson started, we want to do our warm-up. So we're going to get warmed up with putting our sounds first, because we know that is very important when we're reading and we're writing, that we really understand what sounds work together to bring those words to life so that we can read and write them. So let's get started with some blending and some segmenting. Remember, when we're blending, we're going to tap our fingers, and then we're going to pull together and blend the word. So for example, if I was going to blend the word at, I would say at, and I would pull it together in that blended way. Let's do that again. If I'm going to blend the word at, and I pull it together. You try that word for me, blending it only. Very good. Okay, now let's do the same word. We're going to use the same word at, and we're going to segment. At. At has 2 sounds. So I have my wiggly fingers. At. So that's just a reminder of how we blend and we segment. So let's dig into some words for today. All right, so our words for today, as. Let's blend it. As. Very good. Let's segment. As. Very good. Ash. Our word is ash. Let's blend it. Ash. Now you try. Very good. Let's segment it. Ash. How many sounds are in that word? 2. That's exactly right. All right, let's do the word odd. I'm going to do it, then I want you to do it. Odd. 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 All right, let's do that again because I actually messed that one up. Let's blend it first. Odd. 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 Now you do it. Very good. Now let's segment it. Odd. Odd. How many sounds are in that word? 2. That's exactly right. All right, let's go on to our next word. Our next word is hop. Let's blend it first. Hop. Hop. You do it. Touch each finger and pull together. Excellent. Let's segment hop. Hop. How many sounds are in that word? 3 sounds. That's right. Okay, let's go to our next word. Our next word is cat. Cat. Let's blend first. Cat. You do it? Excellent. Let's segment. I, t, cat. How many sounds are in that word? 3 sounds. That's right. Okay, then these next two I want you to do with me. Okay, we're going to do them together. We're going to do light. We're going to blend it. Do it with me. Blending first. Ooh, I, t, light. Now let's segment. Ooh, I, t. How many sounds are in that word? 3 sounds in the word light. All right, let's do our last one for today. The last one for today, we're going to blend. I'll blend first, then you blend. Ready? B, e, o, bell. All right, the word is bell. B, e, o, bell. You do it? Excellent. Now let's segment the word bell. B, e, o, bell. How many sounds are in that word? 3 sounds. You're exactly right. Exactly right. Excellent job today. You guys warmed up? You feel warmed up? Stretched, ready to go? And I'm going to swap over here. There we go. That way we can work together. Now before I start, we want to make sure that we put our name at the top of our papers. Okay, so I'm going to put my name at the top of this paper because this is the work that I'm doing. So I'm going to write Ashley, start with a capital letter A because names start with capital letters. Try to do my best because I'm very proud of my name. I want it to look very nice. And when I taught first grade, I found that first graders were excellent at writing their last names as well. And so I always ask, hey, let's write our last name too. So our last name starts with a capital letter. My last name starts with a K, E-L-L-E-Y. So I got my name at the top of my paper. That means I'm ready to work. You guys have done some of this work with me over the past 2 lessons. And so I'm not going to do as much modeling today. You're actually going to have more independent work. So we're going to start by me showing you exactly how to form each letter. And then you're going to have an opportunity to pause the video and finish your work because you're a first grader. You've got this. All right, so I'm going to show you how to write lowercase letter I. So lowercase letter I, go to the middle line. I'm sorry, you can't see that. Let me move a little bit. We're going to go to the middle line. We're going to pull down to the bottom line and we're going to dot it at the top. Again, remember, no stars, no hearts, no smiley faces, just a simple dot. If we put a big circle on top of it, it looks more like a balloon or a lollipop. So we want to make sure that it looks like a lowercase letter I. When I pick up my pencil for making my last stroke, I'm going to say the sound that I know this symbol stands for. So when I pick up my pencil, I should say I. Again, I. Who remembers what we do once we fill up our entire line? Who remembers? Reach way back into your memory. Yes, we get to find our favorite and we get to indicate that somehow. If it's a heart, a smiley face, a star, however you want to do it, circle it with your favorite color crayon, but let us know which one you're most proud of. Okay, let's do uppercase letter I. Uppercase letter I, you come from the top line to the bottom line. I'm going to cross at the top and I'm also going to cross at the bottom. Nothing is down below the lines. Nothing is up above the lines. That's uppercase letter I, and I say it when I pick up my pencil. Lowercase letter A. I'm going to circle around, touch the middle line, touch the bottom line. Looks a lot like a lowercase letter C, and then I put his backbone on. He touches the middle and the bottom line. That is lowercase letter A. I pick up my pencil and I say ah, exactly. I'm going to do one more just to show you guys how. Lowercase letter A. Excellent job. I fill up my lines and I can't wait to show you because I love using my favorite one. All right, uppercase letter A, top line, pull down, top line, pull down, cross in the center. I pick up my pencil and I say ah. Lowercase letter O, come around, touch at the top, touch at the bottom. I'm sorry, you touch the middle line and touch at the bottom. Let me do one more. I'm going to touch at the middle line and touch at the bottom, and I'm going to say ah. Ooh, my mouth looks a lot like that letter O that I just wrote. Ah. Let's do uppercase letter O. I'm going to come around, touch at the top, touch at the bottom, and I say ah. Lowercase letter C. Lowercase letter C, I'm going to swoop up, touch the middle line, swoop down, touch the bottom line, and stop and say k, k. That sound is made inside of your mouth using your tongue. K, k. Practice with that sound. All right, uppercase letter C, I'm going to start, come around, touch the top, through the middle line, and touch the bottom, and say k. Who knows what this next letter is? You're exactly right. That is a lowercase letter G. Lowercase letter G, we come around, touch the top, touch the bottom, and I'm going to give him a little fish hook down there. And do one more. Come around, touch the top, touch the bottom. Looks a lot like a letter what? Lowercase letter C, but we give him this little fish hook tail. And he's a G. Lowercase letter G is the symbol for the G sound. G sound. Another sound that's made inside of our mouth. You can hear it. You can feel it in your voice box. G. G. It's a very voiced sound. Uppercase letter G, come around, touch the top, touch the bottom. Looks a lot like uppercase letter C, but we come up to this middle line and we slide back. You slide back. When I pick my pencil up, I say G. Again, come around, touch the top, touch the bottom, come to the middle line and slide back and say G. So boys and girls, you're going to want to pause the video right here and finish up your handwriting. If you are doing this on a piece of tablet paper, try to keep in mind that you want to make about 5 or 6 of each one of the letters using good spacing. If you are using this worksheet, then you follow the dots that are there for you. If you're using a dry erase marker and dry erase board, then you'll want to just make 5 or 6 of each one of the letters and try to do your very best and find your favorite each time and make sure you say the sound of each letter. So you're welcome to pause the video now. Okay, now that you've gotten that one finished, boys and girls, I want to go through the rest of our letters. We want to make sure we know how to make all of our letters so that when we hear those sounds, we know exactly what to write and exactly how to write it. Okay, it's really important. So if I am wanting to write a word that I hear the p sound in, I know that it's either going to be lowercase p or uppercase P. So you'll want to practice making your lowercase p pull down. It goes down below the bottom line. It comes around from the middle to the bottom. And you'll want to also practice making your uppercase P. Finish those out during your practice time. Find your favorite and make sure every time you pick up your pencil, you say the sound that that letter represents. That letter represents the P sound. These next letters represent the T sound. Everyone say the T sound. Very good. right? So for lowercase t, I'm going to start at the top, pull down, cross in the middle, go to the top, pull down, cross in the middle, and I say uppercase T, top, pull down, but I cross at the top. Uppercase T, I'm going to cross at the top. Go to the top and pull down and cross at the top. And I say T. What are the names of these letters? Yes, this is lowercase d. Oh, there's another one of those lowercase c's, but we give him an entire top to bottom stick. Lowercase d, when I pick up my pencil, I say D. D. Another one we use our tongue for. Uppercase letter D, I start at the top, pull to the bottom, and then go back to the top and pull around. Top to the bottom, go back to the top, and pull around. Uppercase letter D says D. Our next set of letters are the letter N. Exactly. Lowercase letter N has a stick that starts in the middle, goes to the bottom, and then humps over. Starts in the middle, goes to the bottom, and then humps over. That's exactly what lowercase n does. Lowercase n tells me that I need to make the sound n. N. Very good. Uppercase letter N also tells me that to make that sound n. I start at the top, pull down, and I pick up my pencil and go back to the top, pull forward and up. That's kind of a fun one to make. I like making uppercase letter N's. I go to the top, pull down, pick up my pencil, then go back to the top, slide forward and down, and straight back up. Straight line down, okay? Slide forward and down, straight back up. That one I would be very proud of. So if you would like to pause the video at this point, you'll want to do just like you did on your first page of handwriting. You're going to finish those lines out, and then you're going to find your favorite one, just like I did with this uppercase letter N. So go ahead and feel free to pause the video. All right, boys and girls, we've got another practice activity, and looks like I need to put my name on it. So if I'm going to put my name on my paper, I would love for you to put your name on your paper. My name starts with a capital letter A because it's a name. My last name starts with a capital letter K. It's my last name. Those are proper nouns, and we're going to learn more about some nouns later on in our lesson. Boys and girls, if you'll get your name on your papers, names on your papers, let's get started. If you don't have this page, that is okay. What you'll want to do is go ahead and put your name at the top of your tablet paper or at the top of your notebook paper. And we're going to see if we can label these pictures with these words that we can read. Now, just like we talked about with our handwriting, we've been doing this a bit. So you guys should be getting pretty good at this. What I'm going to do is give you an opportunity to read these words and label these pictures, and then we're going to come back together and look at our answers. So remember, when you begin to read these words, you're going to start at the left and move to the right. We're going to say each sound, and then we're going to blend it together. I'll model how to do this first one, and then I would like for you guys to try on your own for the rest of them. So I'm going to model. P, a, n, p, an, pan. Which one of these pictures looks like a pan. Yes, pan. And I'm going to remember the handwriting that I just did so that I make sure I form my letters correctly. It's the same lines that we had on our handwriting, so our letters should look just like they did on our handwriting page. All right, so I'm going to give you an opportunity at this point to pause and practice. Our tricky words are where I was talking about you potentially needing some post-it notes or some yellow pieces of paper. So I'm going to share with you how I made my tricky words, and then you're welcome to choose your tricky words however you would like to do that. So when we have tricky words, those are words that have sometimes they have tricky parts in them, but most of the words we can use our code to understand, like the words that you just did on your worksheet, like pan, nap, dog, and cat. Most of the words in our language, we can use our code knowledge to be able to understand and read those words. But there are some words that are just plain old tricky. So it's important that we start learning what those words are and getting them in our memory so that we know exactly what to do. So if you have some yellow pieces of paper or some post-it notes, I would like for you to use your very best handwriting or maybe have whoever's there to help you print an uppercase I on one of your pieces of paper and a lowercase letter a. You may want to pause the video to do that. Now, generally, if I'm going to pronounce this, how might I say this? Yeah, you might try to say the sound like we reviewed in our code book. However, this letter A can be a word on its own. So it can be the word A. I would like a piece of cake. A. One of our words is A. You'll also want to have a card that has a capital letter I. How might you try to say this? Is anybody out there saying, eh, just like we practiced? Yeah, that would be the first thing to think about is our code knowledge. But this is actually a word on its own, and it has two reasons that it's tricky. The first one is that it doesn't say it says I. So when we see I by itself standing up tall in its uppercase form, it's the word I. The other thing that's tricky is that it always has to be written as a capital letter. So when we think about this word, we want to make sure that we always say I when we see it by itself, like I went out to play. She and I went to the store. Right? So I'm going to put these down on my mat and I'm going to share with you what we're going to start building. What we're going to start building, guys, is a tricky word wall. And so these words are going to be words that we review every day, just like we do our code books, so that we really start to remember those things and use them when we're reading and we're writing. So this is tricky word A, and this is tricky word I. I would like for you to take a second and come up with a sentence using the word a. I'm going to do an example and then I want you to do another one. So my example is, I saw a butterfly. Your turn. Good. Very good. Okay, I want you to come up with a sentence with the tricky word I. I'll do an example. I love to go shopping. Your turn. Very good, first grader. So those are our tricky words. If you have a place at home that you could put your post-it notes, like post them on the wall somewhere that you keep up with them, Maybe mom has a ring that she could put these cards on. Just a place that you have a set of cards that we know that we practice, because those are our tricky words that we need to really, really practice. All right, boys and girls. There are our tricky words on those yellow cards. What was this tricky word? I. A little bit louder, Tennessee. Ah, I heard it. I. I love teaching first grade. And what is this tricky word? A little bit louder, Tennessee. A. That's right. You guys are a great bunch of students. Now let's take an opportunity to stop just a second and do a little bit of reading. So if you've got someone there that would like to pause this video so that you can read these sentences and phrases to them, that would be great. You know the code well enough to read all of these words. Can you believe that? You also know the tricky words well enough to read all of these. So if you've got a minute, pause the video and take a chance to really practice. You guys are well on your way to reading.